Good afternoon, guys. I'm Ryan here, Michigan Storm Chasers, breaking in with severe weather coverage. We have a newly issued severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Livingston County. This is going to be for places like Genoa, Brighton, Howell, Green Oak Township, Hamburg, and Rushton areas. This storm is producing, or potentially producing, 60-mile-per-hour winds. There's currently no hail threat with this. It says less than penny size, and there is no rotation, so there's no tag for a tornado with this warning. Simply just a wind risk here. Current time is 4:05 p.m. here on this beautiful, hot, muggy Saturday afternoon. Be live here throughout the afternoon, evening, most likely, as we have numerous potential storms that could become strong and perhaps severe throughout the day today. We'll break that down here in just a second, but I want to get everything set up first. I see a couple comments in here saying people are losing power in the Howell and Brighton area. That is not surprising at all. This storm, we'll take a peek at the radar here in just a few seconds. Let's go ahead and zoom in. Focus in, go ahead and animate this for you. It is slowly moving to the south and east, right along I-96, just south of Heartland and Osceola Township. This is going to be your main concern, I believe, right here, this cell. Let's go ahead and pop on our velocity map and check a peek at that. Yes, there is a downburst, a couple downbursts ongoing. The biggest one right up here, all those green colors moving toward the radar, reds are going away from the radar. That's a downburst. Same thing going on down here by Genoa. So two areas here of likely strong, if not severe, winds. What's up from Petoskey? Trees down on Fowler Street. Thank you, Brian, for that. So it sounds like this storm is packing a punch from you guys here in chat. So thank you for these reports. Appreciate it. Radar indications would suggest that winds here are likely, like just based on radar data alone, the radar here does suggest winds are below severe criteria. So it's good that we have, reports here in chat that, hey, we have some stuff going on here, because radar is not that impressive for that wind. Let's go ahead and, I'm still trying to get set up here. Give me 1 second to get this finalized so I don't have to worry about it anymore. Go. And yeah, we'll go over the rest of the evening here in just a second. I wanted to cover this in detail here. All right, there we go. All right, now we are good to rock and roll. All right, Livingston County, severe warning in effect for 53 minutes. Again, Heartland Township, Osceola Township, Brighton, Howell, Genoa, Parishville, and Green Oak Township, as well as Green Oak, Rushton, Hamburg. We'll go ahead and call South Lyon as well in this. It's kind of on the border, but we're going to go ahead and call South Lyon out here just because it's so close to that warning polygon. So with that said, I am solo today. The staff is at latitude 42 in Portage and Oshnemo. If you're local to that area, feel free to stop in and say hi. Got Joel, Chandler, some of our chasers over there, so feel free to stop in. But that means I am pretty much solo today, so bear with me, working things by myself today. But we do have numerous storms that are ongoing aside from this severe storm in Livingston County. Let's zoom out. Let's go take a trip south here to Washtenaw County, even down here toward Toledo, Monroe County, getting a couple showers there. None of these are strong or severe at this time, but we also have some other storms over here in the west side of Michigan that have popped up here in Newaygo County, as an example. Also down here through Ottawa and Kent County, these storms are just starting to fire up here. They have potential to be severe later on today as the afternoon and evening develops. Further north up here in the Gaylord region, we do have, again, scattered showers and a couple thunderstorms that are ongoing. Traverse City up to Petoskey, Boyne City area. These are moving to the east, northeast at around 40 or so miles per hour. And then up here in the UP, we do have a little bit heavier area and pocket of storms affecting the Newberry area, heading toward Chippewa County, Sault Ste. Marie, as well as Mackinac County, Mackinac Island, Mackinac City areas. So take that in consideration if you're in the far eastern UP. Now, to our west in this pink box is a severe thunderstorm watch. They issued this for parts of Wisconsin, North Illinois, and even 2 counties in Indiana here, close to the southwest corner of the state by Berrien County over there. We do have a couple storms that are ongoing here. These are the ones that the watch is technically for. This has all hazards possible. It says $half size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, and a possible tornado. Luckily, that's not close to us yet. But if I pan north here, a secondary squall line has developed here in Wisconsin and is pushing southeast. That is likely going to probably sometime tonight impact us in the West Michigan area if it does not dive completely south here. So a current track on this kind of puts it down here, probably somewhere between Muskegon and Benton Harbor. That's just a guess, but that's my future forecast here. We'll have to wait to see how that evolves. But right now, back to the severe warning here in Livingston County. Any warnings that get issued will pop up on the screen, so we'll know about it here as soon as they're issued. I also want to mention up here in the thumb in Sanilac County over by Lexington, there's a shower that's popped up over there. Had a couple showers exhibit weak rotation earlier. No surprise there on the lake breeze and the thumb. It's a typical summertime event up there, but nothing too strong. So luckily didn't have to go live for that. But in the meantime, we are live now for this severe warning in the south and east part of Livingston County. 60-mile-per-hour winds is your hazard. Let's go ahead and turn on the hail tracker. We're going to see a couple areas, could see some pea-size, perhaps dime, maybe pennies at most size hail. And where you see the brighter colors here indicates where the hail is likely going to be falling. So perhaps a bullseye here just south of 96 and M59 just west of Howell. Also another bullseye just south of Howell here, west of Genoa. This is going to be between Coon Lake Road and we'll just go ahead and call it this road. This is going to be Fisk Road. New statement incoming. Statements are below severe warning, so it's not quite severe, but still a strong storm. That's going to be up in the West Michigan area, just north of Grand Rapids. Go ahead and take a peek at this. Likely this cluster right here. This is going to be moving to the east, and we'll see what they put a statement on it for. East and a bit south, right toward our Stanwood camera, as well as our Six Lake camera. I'll have to take that here in a few minutes here. Those are facing northeast and east, so I'm not going to have a good visual on the storm until it's passed. Wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour, as well as pea-size hail for Newaygo County, as well as Mecosta and parts of extreme northwest Montcalm County. So Big Prairie, Big Rapids, US 131 between those areas, M46 up to about the county line of Newaygo is going to be the area of interest. So this storm is just north of White Cloud, actually impacting White Cloud, but the bulk of it's north of White Cloud, heading towards Stanwood, Big Rapids, Grant Center, Paris, Chippewa Lake, and Rodney areas in the next couple of minutes. The movement on that says east at 25 miles per hour, so a pretty slow moving thunderstorm there up in Newaygo County. Windy and Howell, says Megan. How many of you guys are watching from the Howell-Brighton area and have lost power? I know I've seen a couple comments already suggest that. So I'm going to pop open the outage map here behind the scenes and take a peek at that. And I did not want DTE. I wanted just a general outage map. There we go. That's still not what I wanted. All right, we'll just deal with this one. There we go. Livingston County says 22 people out of power currently. Says Washtenaw, almost 600 people in Washtenaw County out of power. No storms that are severe that are ongoing currently. A couple pop-ups there over downtown Ann Arbor, as well as over here toward the Clinton and Manchester areas, as well as just south of Saline near Macon. I have power in Howell. Howell here. What's up, guys? A lot of Howell viewers. Brighton still have power. Bell says out of power. Power is back on, says Carly. In Heartland, the power is flickering. All right, so this storm seems to be a pretty strong storm, likely producing some gusty winds here. It was a little gustier right about here, according to radar, about 4 6:03 p.m. They went ahead and continued this warning, and they've now upped the hail size to quarters. So it was at pennies, now we're at quarters. We're seeing the hail tracker start to light up a little bit brighter. We're now at pink. It can go to white, so it goes kind of orangish red to pink, purple, and then white. So we're almost maxed out here in a very localized pocket. So perhaps some quarter-size hail falling just to the west of Genoa. This is as of 4:08 p.m., so it'll move a little bit further to the east and south here. So probably more so between Hamburg Township and Genoa directly would be the area of interest for any hail. Also, new statement incoming up here for portions, I believe, of the UP. I think I said Chippewa County. I'm going to assume it's this complex right here. We'll wait to see if a blue box pops in. Take the Canadian radar here. There it is. There's your new statement popping in. Portions of north central Mackinac and then the west central part of Chippewa County. This statement is in effect for wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour and pea-size hail. Now, for reference, severe storm criteria starts at 58 miles per hour. So this is just below severe criteria. So going back further south here, we're going to take a peek back at the northern Michigan radar. Again, showers and storms popping up all across the area from Traverse City up to about Charlevoix, Petoskey, over toward Otsego Lake, Gaylord region. Otherwise, we are clear on the east side currently by Alpena and East Tawas, Cadillac area, as well as Houghton Lake. You guys are all clear at the moment. That may change, though, as evening goes on. And again, this area that just got statemented before the last statement was issued, Big Rapids, Newaygo County, Mecosta, as well as portions of northwest Montcalm. Although showers are popping up all along US 131 as well as down here toward Allegan, just north of Allegan near Hudsonville, Door area, as well as up here just west of Howard City. So numerous storms are popping up. These do have potential to be strong, perhaps severe today. In fact, I think the entirety of the lower peninsula is in a severe risk. There's your SPC outlook. Anywhere in dark green is in a severe risk today. That's the entirety of the lower peninsula as well as the eastern half of the UP. Also take note, we have a slight risk now per the SPC for portions of extreme western Van Buren County and pretty much all of Berrien County. So they did expect, I believe they're expecting this complex up here to be the main show, but it's kind of riding just north of that current slight risk. So we may see perhaps, I guess we can't say an extension because the latest outlook was just released 15 minutes ago. The next outlook is issued at 9 p.m. But if that complex up here continues to strengthen and push southwestward, we could see that impact portions of like Holland, for example, Kalamazoo. We'll watch that. We're still a few hours out from that happening. Something to monitor, though. All right, going back over here to good old DTX Detroit radar, taking a peek back here at the warning, continuing for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. This storm is pretty stationary. I'm not going to say it's moving very slowly. I'll put it that way. So potential here for localized flooding. I know we already had some flooding a few days ago, perhaps a week or two ago, in that Brighton Howell area. But this is moving fairly slow. Let's see if we pick up on the precipitation. Yeah, I already got almost an inch and a half, I have to assume, of rain here. Yeah, upwards of almost 2 inches of rain have already fallen over I-96 near Genoa. Between Brighton and Howell. So this storm is dumping quite a bit of rain in localized areas, and that I would have to assume is causing some localized flooding in that general region. So with that said, we're going to pop back off the SPC outlook, take it back here, and we're going to take a peek at some of these cameras. I don't have anything around the Brighton area yet. We do have a couple areas we're looking at cameras here in the near future. But we do have a camera up here in the Stanwood area for this storm that is statemented. It is facing to the northeast, though. So that's going to be the only downside to that. And if we take a peek at that camera, we're going to see a pretty cloudy sky ahead of these storms. This is courtesy of Stanwood Market in downtown Stanwood. Once the storm passes, we'll have a good visual on that, as well as Six Lakes, which is the camera just a little bit further to the east of that. That's also looking to the east at What's the Scoop. So thank you to Stanwood Market and What's the Scoop for giving us these views of these cameras. We also have another camera that's a little bit further out, Crystal Lake. It's right here to be exact, via courtesy of Crystal Lake House Rentals. Once these storms push closer, we'll take a peek at that camera. In the meantime, let's go ahead and focus back in on this storm over the Livingston County area. Now, with that said, I do have another radar pulled up. There we go. Take a peek at this storm on a more advanced radar. Lots of lightning with this. Also want to take note, if you notice this little line to the left of the storm, that is an outflow boundary. That is outflow winds rushing out from the storm. Those could be windy in nature, but also that could spark more storms because as it creates lift and a bit more shear to get storms up and going. So don't be shocked if we have numerous pop-ups as a result of one or two storms. What I'm trying to say is coverage may increase here as we get later in the evening. As of right now, though, just the one severe storm in the state. That is the good news. The bad news is it's likely producing hail, damaging winds, as well as a lot, and I mean a lot, of heavy rain here. Latest scan does increase our downburst signature just a bit. The greens are moving away from the radar. Sorry, hold on. Let me animate this real quick. Try to get a feel for this. Yeah, sorry. So the greens are moving toward the radar. I had my brain confused for a second. The greens are moving toward the radar this way, and the reds are going away. So they're not coming together to meet for like rotation, but they're kind of parting. And that means we have a centerward downburst ongoing here over 96. So if you're on 96, probably going to be a whiteout there just because of a lot of heavy rains falling. And likely going to have some flooding there as well. But as that downburst, microburst happens, it hits the ground, it spreads outward, and that's why you get those winds moving away from each other, typical of these gusty thunderstorms in summer. We're in downtown Howell, lost power, a ton of branches down, and the wind snapped several of the mature oaks in our yards, uprooted one. I hope the vendors and people that were at the Melon Fest are okay. Is there a festival going on up there? That is not good. All right. Again, this is moving pretty slowly off to the east-southeast. It's going to ride very close to 96 toward Green Oak Township. If this continues south, places in northern Washtenaw County would be on deck for that. We're talking places like Dover, Hudson Mills, Webster Township, Northfield Township, Warden, Salem, and Salem Township, the very far north extreme portion of Washtenaw. It's got a few minutes before it gets to you, but if it does continue on its track and holds its strength, you guys would be on deck for this storm. Thank you, Ann, for becoming a member for the third month in a row. Appreciate your support. Looking at comments here, making sure I'm not missing much anything. I'm solo today, just tuning in. Almost the entire team is over in Kalamazoo, or should I say Portage and Oshkosh at latitude 42. They have a meet and greet there. Also launching our own beer. So feel free to stop in and say hi to the guys. They're over there. So I am solo today. So as I'm solo, there will be pauses as I post updates to the page and communicate with our moderators and our team behind the scenes. I'm just trying to stay as informed as I possibly can, so just bear with me here. Luckily, only one storm currently in the state that's severe. I do expect that to change as the evening goes on. I think a couple of these storms over here in West Michigan will likely achieve severe status, or status. I don't know why I said status, but looking on our camera over here in Allegan County, I want to take note. Go ahead and pop the warning bar off the screen just for a minute. You can see we have a nice storm that is looking to the north here, courtesy of Cole Concrete in Allegan. That is likely that storm that is forming. It is just north of Allegan, between Dorr and Allegan. So good view of that, courtesy of Cole Concrete. I want to thank them for sponsoring this camera. In the meantime, though, back to the radar. That's going to be this storm as it's just popping up. Here's the camera. If you guys can't tell, we have a lot of red dots on the map indicating our cameras are there located. And here are the storms. We have two of them here in close proximity. Those are moving, go ahead and animate this radar, east-southeast. Also popping up a storm near Lansing. Keep an eye on that one too. Zooming out the wide spectrum of things, if you look across the state, I'm going to say probably 70% of us are currently dry. This is a widely scattered to isolated day in terms of our coverage, further downstate at least, but that will likely change as the evening goes on. Back to the Detroit radar and to our severe warning in Livingston County continues for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. The center of the storm is located directly on I-96, and all throughout on the north and south side 96, we have some gusty winds that are ongoing. I currently do not see anything on radar that suggests that, hey, these are likely severe winds. But with you guys here in chat saying, hey, we're out of power, hey, there's a lot of, gusty winds going on here, we have to assume that is the case. And with that, let's go ahead and refresh our outage map. Yes, we do have now 700 people out of power in Livingston County as a result. New update to the existing warning. They have now dropped the hail size back down to pennies. It continues for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Are any of our chasers out? Probably should check on that real quick. So, as we continue this stream, we'll be live as long as there is a threat that's imminent for the state. Report of what appears to be downed wires and branches in Howell. Thank you for that report in chat. Brighton is just a little windy right now. Yeah, I think it was a little windier earlier as this warning was first issued. I'm going to log in here to our YouTube, make sure I'm not going to miss anything on the comments. There we go. Pop that open. Perfect. All right, zoom back in here. Let's go ahead and pop on the hail tracker. New statement incoming here. Looks like Montcalm, Kent County. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a peek at the hail tracker. And this has not updated. This is old. This is 13 minutes old, so we're not even going to pay attention to that. Let's take a peek at the new statement incoming. Looks like we have a special weather statement incoming for Kent and Montcalm counties. I'm assuming for this storm right here on the county line, over M40, US 131, just south of M46. There it is. Wind gusts to 50 and pea-size hail. Wind gusts to 50 and pea-size hail. Now again, severe criteria starts at 58 miles per hour or greater. So we're just a hair below that criteria. So strong storm, just not currently severe. We do have that camera facing west out of Crystal Lake. I'm keeping an eye on that. Nothing yet to show you guys, but a lot of boaters out there, that's for sure. The storm down here in Allegan County continues to strengthen. Let's go ahead and take back our Allegan camera, as this is likely intensifying quite rapidly here in Allegan County. In fact, a little bit of a downburst signature is showing up there on radar. We are seeing on the camera, but we do have a nice storm. We're looking at the back side of it. It looks elevated right now, meaning there's no surface-based features to this at this current time. But we'll see if this changes here as the afternoon goes on. Again, courtesy of Coal Concrete there in Allegan. You can kind of see if you zoom in here to Hopkins area, it's a miniature downburst signature there. So the green's going toward the radar up that way. The reds are going toward it. This is likely the start of perhaps some gustier winds. We'll keep an eye on that. Also want to take note for our friends watching from latitude 42. You guys are all clear on radar. Nothing in the Ostrabo or Portage area. But again, with that lake breeze in the area, that could change. And especially likely later on tonight, especially if this complex holds together, you guys down in the southwest corner, Kalamazoo area, would be in for this line. Only one warning on it currently, and that's in Wisconsin for typical quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Yeah, I'm going to read chat as I read chat. I'm not going to keep my close eye on it. We have moderators in here to help you guys out. I'm solo today, so I'm not going to be able to keep all eyes on everything at once. We have moderators for a reason. So if you have questions that are very important, you can direct them at them. If they need to go to me, they can message me directly with our team chat. Currently in the state, we have 3,000... Strike that. 4,000 people. 4,000 people now out of power. We were at about 1,500 at the start of the stream. So these storms are knocking out power in localized areas. Hail finally stopped in Howell. How big was the hail, if you can report so safely? Very curious on what that hail size was. It didn't appear to be that large, but these days can be pretty sneaky, so never want to discount it. I have also pulled up the Michigan Weather Reports Facebook group. If you guys have pictures or reports of anything that is severe storm related, feel free to drop it in that group. It is designed for you guys to use. It's not designed for us. It's for you guys. So feel free to pop in there on Facebook. It's called Michigan Weather Reports. It has about 87,000 members. And you can submit posts. And as you submit those, I get notified as soon as they come in so I can look at them and relay that information in real time. So that helps you out, also helps us out, and helps the community out as well. P-size in Howell, thank you for that report. These storms are really starting to get going. And yeah, there we go. Just south of Hopkins there. This is a downburst that is likely going to be ongoing. And I would not be shocked if they were to statement this storm if that continues. It's very localized, but still gusty winds just between Hopkins and Hopkinsburg. Also down here, this is going to be 122nd Avenue, just to the west of 20th Street. Detroit area, I see a lot of comments about the Dream Cruise and stuff like that. So here's your current radar in southeast Michigan. These storms are moving to the southeast very slowly. I would expect numerous storms to pop up throughout the afternoon and evening. So yes, there is a chance that we could see some rain there at Dream Cruise, for sure. And there is the statement we just mentioned potentially incoming for the storm that is now, what is now statemented, in Allegan County. Go ahead and pop up the 4-panel. There we go. There is going to be your Allegan County cell. I know the warning bar kind of blocks that view, but I apologize about that. Statement, 50-mile-per-hour winds and penny-size hail. So most of these statements today in effect for 50-mile-per-hour winds as well as penny-size hail. Places like Wayland, Hopkins, Middleville, Bowens Mill, Orangeville, Prairieville, Shelbyville, Martin, Circle Pines Center. This is a due east movement, although I would say the storm motion kind of puts it down here toward Orangeville and Prairieville more so it does up here toward Middleville. So we'll have to see if anything develops on the north side of this, but kind of seeing like a southeast movement with that, more so down here toward the Orangeville and Prairieville areas. Further north here are these statements. We are currently being impacted on the Stanwood camera Looks like a lot of heavy rain there. The bottom left of your screen, we can kind of see. There's your full screen. Look at that. Just some light winds and some heavy rain there in Stanwood. Off to the right, you can see that rain core there coming down. So nothing too major there. Got some gusty winds there. Looks like the trees are blowing. Probably 20 or 30 miles per hour. Otherwise, looks pretty typical garden variety storm at this current time. This storm is approaching Six Lakes next, which is our next camera over. That's actually the wrong way. We're going this way. There we go. Courtesy of What's the Scoop here in Six Lakes. We'll watch that as well next 20 or 30 minutes. And of course, the Stanwood camera is sponsored by Stanwood Market. Further north, we have a couple areas still being impacted. These are just general garden variety showers, perhaps a rumble of thunder up in the northwest corner of lower Michigan. The heavier storms are up here in the eastern UP, where 50-mile-per-hour winds and small hail are possible. I don't see anything on the Canadian radar that suggests severe weather is occurring. Let's go ahead and check the Gaylord radar just to make sure. It's a long ways up there to the eastern UP, so it's kind of hard to depict with radar what exactly is happening. In the meantime, though, I don't see anything of concern from what I can see on the data that I have. A new flood advisory incoming now for Livingston County. Not surprised by that at all. This warning continues for 60-mile-per-hour winds, and the hail should be less than penny size. Let's go ahead and check the storm total precipitation. You can see over 96 here. We are getting dumped on, for lack of better terms, 3.5 inches radar estimated of rainfall in localized areas between Brighton and Genoa. This is likely, is that a flood advisory or is that a flood warning that was issued? That was a flood advisory. Flood advisory. So that is likely going to be in effect there for the 96 corridor from Brighton to about Howell. Right between those two areas, you got, we're going to say, walloped by some heavier rain. There's your flood advisory, and you can see that green polygon on your screen just got lit up there is for that same general area. The warning has been continued. Expires at 5 p.m. Eastern. 60-mile-per-hour winds is the hazard still. Looks like we have Drew out there with us. Go ahead and take a shot at seeing if Drew's stream is up. In the meantime, I'm going to pop it on our Apex restoration camera there in Grand Blanc. New statement coming in. We'll get that in just a second. Yes, we do have Drew with us. So we'll leave Drew up there in the top corner. Let's go ahead and take a peek through our chasers real quick just to make sure no one else is out. We're missing anybody here. Does not appear that we have anybody out. Nope, just Drew right now. So Drew will be in the top right of your screen. In the meantime, new statement incoming. I believe it's for the Gaylord region. I saw it Siegel County in there, and it sure is. Let's go ahead and take a peek up here. That is a very tiny storm, but still likely producing a punch there. Very localized, heavy core. Statement is going to be for 40-mile-per-hour winds and half-inch hail. Just south of Johannesburg, south of Heatherton, south of Donnelly, heading toward the Bigelow area along M32. Very localized pocket of probably some dime-sized hail. Also got a cell popping up. One scan, looks like one or two scans right over, not going to say right over, but between Grayling and Roscommon there, just east of 75. That is 1-2 scan and bam, it's already at 60 dBz. It's crazy. All right, back down here, West Michigan. These storms continue to develop. And they push to the east-southeast. We have the Lowell camera, we have Ionia, Crystal, and Six Lakes cameras all out ahead of these, as well as Charlotte if they continue further to the east. Let's go ahead and just leave it on the Statewide camera for right now as heavy rain continues to fall there. Any comments, guys? Feel free to pop them in chat. The warning in Livingston County continues until 5 p.m. Would not be shocked if they were to expire that early. I think the storm is a little weaker than what it once was, so would not be shocked if they were to expire this soon. The hail tracker on that has updated. Kind of, yes. Definitely not as potent as it once was. Drew, I believe, is going to be... Yeah, I know where Drew's at. He is going to be over in the Grand Rapids region. In fact, if you see this blue dot over here, that is Drew. So keep an eye on Drew as he moves into position for these storms. I'm not sure what exactly he's targeting. I'm assuming it's probably going to be the Lowell storm or the Allegan storm. In fact, we do have likely a visual with the Lowell camera. Let's go ahead and pull that up. We kind of do. Let's go ahead and get that up full screen for you guys. Go ahead and pop. Got a bug in my face. Got to pop that off and back on. This is courtesy of Rogers Neighborhood Realty. Looking south in downtown Lowell, you can see just over the downtown buildings, just a bit to the right of the screen. That is the developing storm that has prompted no statement at this current time. A new statement incoming, though, for, I believe, this storm up here that was originally statemented in the Big Rapids area. This is going to be for this area right here, from Millbrook, Mecosta, perhaps toward Mount Pleasant areas. Wait for that to pop in momentarily. A bit delayed today on the statements. There it is. In effect for an hour and 4 minutes. Wind gusts up to 50 and penny-size hail. Wind gusts to 50 and penny-size hail. Lakeview, Six Lakes, Edmore, Millbrook, Lake Isabella, Mecosta area, M20, M66, county line of Isabella, Montcalm, and Mecosta counties. Okay, we don't have the airport radar feed from Omega. Let's go ahead and switch this over out of curiosity to GR2. Do we have a feed on this? We do not. So it looks like the Detroit airport radar is down, unfortunately. That gives us really good data when it's up, but for some reason today, it is... I spoke too soon. It's back up. So make sure it's this current time. Yeah, it's current time. So we're back up here in the airport radar. And there's your gusty winds there in Livingston County. Looks like it's still below severe criteria. Looks like 35 mile per hour winds at most there in southern Livingston County. So with that said, other areas, we have a mini downburst going on just south of Saline, just west of 23, north of Milan here with that tiny cell. That's a very miniature downburst going on there. But otherwise, we are clear from anything severe currently in southeast Michigan, minus what is currently warned in Livingston County. And with that said, let's go ahead and take back the data from Detroit. There we go. Pop open our good old tool Omega. And take a peek at velocity here. A downburst is ongoing still, but as we just saw on the airport radar, it's likely not close to severe limits. If it is, radar is not depicting it well. Getting really windy in Gaylord. Let's go ahead and take a peek up there further north. Nothing really impacting Gaylord right now. Perhaps a boundary showing up there where these storms are kind of riding off of, but nothing in Gaylord directly, so you're clear. Got some rain incoming, but nothing severe close to you. These storms are firing up on the lake breeze, it appears, off of Lake Michigan. Taking a zoomed out look, letting that radar animate there, we have numerous storms that are developing. We also have what's across the pond in Wisconsin still to come. This complex could cause problems later on this evening. We will watch that closely, but in the meantime, we got our own storms to track. One severe warning, Livingston County. Would expect that to be canceled early. It expires currently at 5 p.m., but based on radar trends, I would not expect that to last much longer unless some re-intensification happens. Hail tracker still remains below criteria. New statement incoming. Presque Isle and Montmorency counties. Probably for these two cells up there that are just north of the current blue box. Likely going to have another blue box coming in there. I'm going to assume 50-mile-per-hour winds and probably pea size, perhaps some dime size hail. Let's wait for that to pop in. Taking forever. We'll come back to that then. Oh, there it is, of course. The hazard, 40-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail. So 40 and pennies. Places like Millersburg, M33, Canada Creek Ranch. That's all I'm seeing. A lot of rural areas up there. So not much impact for population-wise. But still, strong storm incoming. I believe the Renaissance Fair is going on today too in Holly. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong though. But currently in Holly, you guys are clear, but there are some showers in your area. So be mindful of that. Howell is pretty much done currently, but we do have a couple areas and pockets behind it toward Williamston. This is just kind of sitting there. In fact, is there a fire somewhere in East Lansing? Because this doesn't appear to be a storm. It kind of appears to be smoke. It's not moving. Does somebody know if there's a fire going on? Flushing has a fire. Okay. I'm curious if that's actually a storm that's going on. I guess it could be. There's lightning with it, but it's not moving. Like it's coming off of this area near Okemos. Like it's just not moving. And usually when that happens, it kind of like a fire. Oh, there is a house fire. Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, I mean that. I don't know. This is like centered over here toward Okemos though. So it could be rain. Anybody in Williamston, Okemos getting rain right now? That'll tell us. But no, I kind of caught my eye. I was like, whoa, what's going on over here? Because this isn't moving. But anyway, further south here, this is still severe warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds. The bulk of the core of the storm is now south 96, south of Brighton, heading toward Hamburg Township and Hamburg, as well as Green Oak Township. A large structure fire in the Williamston area. Heard the call on the scanner from mutual aid. Okemos. How do you say it? About to pop open the pronunciation guide. Okay. Okemos. Gotcha. My bad. My bad. Yes. Hello again. Had to down some food real quick. I'm good to go now. I'm working solo today, so I don't have any help from the guys. They're all over in Oshtemo and Portage at latitude 42. So I am in the booth today solo. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a peek across the entire state. Got some storms over Milan as well as portions of Washtenaw County from Ypsilanti now into Canton over towards Salem Township. And obviously our severe warning in Livingston County continues. 60-mile-per-hour winds there. The storm is dying though, so likely not as strong as it once was. I believe this is a fire still. This is not moving. It's just sitting stationary. So not going to be surprised there if that's not rain. Over here in Allegan and Barry County, we have a couple statements in effect. One statement, 2 storms. Wind gusts up to 50 and penny-sized hail. And our Lowell camera in the bottom left of your screen there is depicting that storm. This one right here, not currently statemented, but if you look closely, I'll bring it up full screen for you guys. If you look closely, there is a shelf cloud that is forming right here. That is a shelf cloud on the storm that is beginning to develop. So you're seeing the first signs of likely an outflow push from that storm, and that could indicate we could have some gusty winds about to happen in the next 5 or 10 minutes. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Shelf clouds can indicate gusty winds, but oftentimes they're just a lot of cooler air getting pushed out from a storm. It kind of rises, rises, condenses into a cloud, and it pushes outward and gives that really cool shelf-like look. So, structure fire on High Street. Please avoid the area. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just call that a fire then. It kind of threw me off though because it does have lightning strikes in it. So it's like, is it a storm? But it's just not moving. So yeah, likely a large fire there. All right, further north here toward the Big Rapids area, a lot of statements in effect for 50-mile-per-hour winds and small hail. McBride, Edmore, Millbrook on deck. Crystal, Summer, and Mount Pleasant also about to be impacted by these showers and storms. Only one severe warning in the state currently. That's Livingston County, as well as a flood advisory in effect for the exact same area. Genoa, I-96 area, is likely experiencing flooding as of this current time, which is 4:52 p.m. Eastern Time. Pop it back over here to the good old radar. Still watching what's out to our west. The yellowish boxes are severe. That pinkish yellow box, it's a wide box there. That's a watch, severe watch in effect. It does get close to Michigan, but they decided not to include Michigan counties in it. What is happening over here is now severe warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds in Fond du Lac and Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. This is likely going to cross the lake and impact. Yeah, there you go. There's your winds really starting to increase there. That's actually not a good sign. This is a wind bag developing here in Wisconsin. That may push across the lake toward West Michigan later on tonight. There's your motion on it. If we kind of track this out here, it's kind of going this way. So I would say anywhere south of Grand Haven to Muskegon would be on alert for this. Potentially more so to the south toward like Holland, Benton Harbor areas later on tonight. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and take a peek back at our Alien camera real quick as that storm has developed. In fact, I want to divert back here to... There you go. Yeah. It looks like the storm has moved to the right of the camera, so that's not going to be a greatest view anymore there. Let's see what else we have here. We have nothing in Berry County. Anybody in Berry County want to sponsor your camera? Get in touch with me. We need something in Berry County. It'd be helpful for us. In the meantime, though, keeping a close eye on the camera network here. Do you see a storm on the Lake Orion camera, courtesy of Storm Guard? Also have the Manistee camera and also Ludington now, facing across the lake. But in the meantime, I'll leave it on Lowell because that's the closest camera we have currently to a storm. We have a report via Detroit NWS. The call center, dispatch center, reports thunderstorm wind damage across central Livingston counties. So multiple, pop this open here, in and around Howell, multiple trees down per dispatch. Not surprised with that at all. So this warning continues, and that storm continues to hang out here. Let's check on velocity. It still does not appear to be impressive. Do I have velocity off? I don't. So Omega needs to get their act together with fixing their feeds or something, because I can pull this just fine on GR2, but I can't pull it off of Omega. Let's go ahead and check our velocities here. And yeah, this doesn't appear to be as strong or severe as it once was via both Detroit and the airport radar. So with that said, flip it back over here. I think West Michigan storms are becoming a bit more dominant in terms of their intensity, although this does not appear to be impressive as of the current moment either. So hopefully, fingers are crossed, if we stay quiet here, after this warning drops off, we might hop off for a brief period, because I feel like later on tonight, we're going to have to keep a close eye on this complex over in Wisconsin a bit more closely. But these currently that are ongoing to state are having a hard time getting up to or close to severe limits. I'm looking at the velocities here. I'm not seeing anything indicating strong winds. Gusty winds, yes, but strong or severe winds, no. The cores of these storms do not look impressive for hail either. This one up here does look impressive, though, in the hail tracker. And since that's moved into a line here, so Presque County, Rogers City, Belknap, Presque Township, Millersburg, be on alert. This storm is strengthening on radar. Likely gusty winds here, too. So Presque County, perhaps northern portions of Alpena County as well. Be on the lookout for some storms as they push your way. Those look perhaps stronger in nature. Up in the UP, we're tracking these storms as well. Probably going to be close to exiting Chippewa-Mackinac County soon. I guess I'm wrong on that. Is this not moving at all? It is, just very slowly. So nice, we're going to call it nice chunk of rain up there, pushing towards Sault Ste. Marie and Clark Township, Rudyard, Pickford areas. So that warning in Livingston County expires in 2 minutes. Think the Warren area could see some showers. Definitely. It's a possibility here. We have numerous storms that are popping up across southeast Michigan. I will say, if you're north of, really north of 69 here, really all of Macomb County currently clear, as well as most of Oakland. But if you go north here, there's nothing on radar. So if you're really south of 69, we're going to be pretty much dry, or north 69, you're dry, south 69, showers and storms possible here. That warning has now been expired at 5 o'clock, so no longer in effect there. We are now in statement ops. we have numerous blue boxes on your screen indicating statements which are a step below severe criteria. We got Drew out there chasing. He is going to be over on US 131 southbound, I assume, heading toward Allegan area. Let's go ahead and refresh his feed here, so we can get a better, smoother field for you. Here we go. We'll keep him in the top right of your screen. Bottom left of your screen, the Lowell camera continues to depict those showers just south of the Lowell area. And that is right here on radar. So the camera is looking south right there. Nice storm that's developed there on the Kent, Berry, and Ionia County line. It does have a few instances, perhaps of gusty winds heading toward Clarksville, Campbell Corners. Otherwise, that does not look strong or severe. This one down here in the Wayland area does not look strong or severe either. These storms are having a hard time, it appears, getting some gusty winds developed to the surface. The one in Livingston County wasn't as impressive either. So perhaps we're going to hop off of here soon if everything stays tame for, we're going to say, 15 or 20 minutes or so. Just because, again, I feel like later on tonight, especially with what's happening across the lake currently, this has my eye really tuned into it, if that holds together. So that's going to be the main show, I have to assume. In fact, they just went ahead and issued a new watch out ahead of this, as it's tracking further north than expected. So if we go ahead and animate this, you can see it's diving south pretty rapidly. So if I had to track this out, I mean, I'm looking probably close to Holland and south. So southwest Michigan later on, we're going to say 2 or 3 hours from now, be on alert, as this complex is we're going to call it a steamrolling your way. Hopefully it weakens. If it doesn't weaken, though, damaging winds and perhaps a brief weak tornado would be possible, but more so damaging winds with the environment today. No warnings in effect currently. We do have scattered to widely scattered showers and storms ongoing, mainly on the US 131 corridor up in Berry, or should I say Allegan, Berry County, up through Kent County, moving into Mecosta, moving out of Mecosta into Newaygo. Sorry, I am out of touch. Out of Newaygo into Mecosta, into Isabella County, and then obviously further north here with that line in Presque Isle County. This is also developing will appear to be a gusty gust front there, but it looks pretty. You can see the gust front in there, the little black dotted outline there. That's going to be a little bit of a gust front developing. Otherwise, that does not appear to be as strong as it once did a few minutes ago. Hail core on that still is there, just not as strong. Take a peek back down here at that quote-unquote storm/smoke, and it's still hanging out there. It's not moving still. So that is definitely not a storm. But for smoke to get picked up on radar like that, that has to be a very, very large fire with a very thick smoke plume. And nice boundary now showing up here. In fact, bottom left of your screen, I'll bring it full for you guys. This is the camera courtesy of the Mirestone Ranch in Chelsea. They are directly looking at a outflow boundary from previous storms. So it's not storming there. It's not raining, but the boundary passed over, and that is your source of lift. And if you flip back over here to radar, this line, the camera's right here, and this outflow boundary is right here. As that pushes outward, it could develop more storms along or ahead of it. So keep a close eye on that. But just kind of cool there how that camera is depicting the underside of that boundary. It's not raining, not storming, but it's dark. It looks stormy, but it's not. Let's see who else we got on here. Trying to see a good view here. We can see the camera here at Crystal Lake House Rentals. We do have a nice rain shaft dead center of your screen there looking at the lake. Go ahead and take the warning bar off of the screen for you guys. There you go. That's looking at looks like a dying shower there across the lake. We'll keep an eye on that as that tracks closer to it, but it appears to be a dying storm moving that direction. So with that said, we're going to pan out. Go ahead and take back the radar here. We'll go ahead and throw the Lowell camera back up on the bottom left of your screen, as that seems to be the best view that we currently have. These look like pretty potent storms down here in southern Kent County. And now looking at the latest scan, definitely a little bit of a downburst going on here in the southern part of Kent, northern part of Barry, and the southern part of Ionia County. These are downburst winds that are going away from each other, and that indicates some stronger winds are likely occurring. Holy smack, hard rain here in Middleville. Well, Middleville is on the screen currently. Let's go ahead and dive out of that and tack to further south here towards you guys. You must be around Middleville because there's nothing currently on radar in the town. There's a house fire in Williamston struck by lightning. Are you sure about that? Because that is a different report than what I'm getting elsewhere. Of course, I'm not a big scatter listener. I know we had a big fire somewhere in that area, but I don't know about that. New statement incoming. That storm we just pointed out on radar is now getting statemented for wind gusts up to 50. And I believe it said penny size. Yeah, penny size hail. Hastings, Freeport, Carlton, Woodland, Coates Grove, Quimby, and Podunk area. Some windows were blown out in downtown Howell at the Opera House. Numerous trees and power lines down in the area. All right. Thank you for that. New statement coming for Washtenaw County. All right. Let's go ahead and take a peek down here. This is my neck of the woods, actually. This is a strengthening storm in Washtenaw County. It appears to be just to the east of our Chelsea camera. This is... You know what? I don't like this. I'm going to flip over here to the GR2. This is the airport radar here. And I don't see any... I don't see gusty winds associated with the storm, but I'm wondering if the boundary here is producing strong winds. This has a hail core with it, though. And as does this. Most of these storms actually have a pretty decent core on them. But I'm not seeing anything that indicates that severe winds are occurring, aside from what could be the outflow boundary ahead of this. Hail in Dexter. Yep, so you're just south of that core of the storm there. So yeah, not surprised at all. How how strong were the winds and how big was the hail in Dexter? If you guys can be more specific than that, that'd be perfect. Thank you. Power outage map, we were at 4,000. We are now at 5,500. So not a huge jump, but still a good enough jump to warrant mention of that. Back over here to our cells in West Michigan. And yes, gusty winds continue. Some winds in Ipsy, not super bad. Yeah, if you guys want to report hail or winds, please be specific of how strong, estimated mile per hour, estimated size. It really helps if you give us a picture in our reports group, Michigan Weather Reports. Grab like a quarter or a ruler, put hail up against it, or just submit damage pictures there. No new pending posts yet in our group, so no reports incoming. I will say latest scan on the cell over Harris Creek area near Freeport is looking a bit stronger. Not looking severe yet, but it is looking stronger. Yes, there is a place in Michigan called Podunk. There's also a Paradise, Michigan. There's a Hell, Michigan. What else do we have here? We have everything. We have everything. .50-mile-per-hour winds near Hastings. Another downburst ongoing here west of Hastings over Bowens Mill and Middleville areas. What we're looking for on radar here, we like to say greens and reds coming together. That means rotation. But in this case, when the greens and reds go apart from each other, that's a downburst. So we have two areas here. These winds in green going toward the radar, which is up here, like just north of my screen here. Up here, that's the radar. So the two areas here, winds are going toward and the reds are going away, opposite of what rotation would be. So you see the greens and reds on radar, and you think, oh, rotation, but no, it's opposite of that. So that is the main concern, is damaging winds with the storm. I am liking this cell over the county line of Ionia, Barry, and Kalamazoo. Or not Kalamazoo, Kent. Sorry, Kalamazoo currently is all clear. Good old Drew is out there, top right of your screen. He is this blue dot on your screen near Martin and Watson areas. This cell he's on is currently dying, but the cell to his north, both cells to his north, are currently intensifying. Let's go further north here to Mount Pleasant. These storms have died out enough to where I'm not concerned for anything strong with those anymore, besides heavy rain that's brief in nature, as well as some lightning. Up here in Presque Isle, we do still have that line pushing through. Perhaps gusty winds with that. Heaviest of that's heading in toward Rogers City along US 23 here just to the north of Millersburg. Also up here, moving in through the eastern UP, this storm continues to be statemented for gusty winds up to 50 miles per hour. That expires in 2 minutes. On radar currently, perhaps a little bit of downburst there, but otherwise not seeing much of anything concerning up there. Of course, radar is not the best, so we could be missing stuff, but on the data that we have, not much to be concerned about there. Going back down here to our statement in Washtenaw County, flip this over here to GR2. This has a better look at things with the airport radar. Still not seeing anything on velocity indicating strong winds are occurring. Downburst now near Dexter occurring, very minor in nature at this current time, but enough to pick up on radar just a tad. With that said, let's take a peek at the DTW radar. I guess I was on DTX. So DTX is Detroit Pontiac radar. DTW is the airport radar. And yes, there we go. That's why I was not seeing anything in Dexter. Yeah, Dexter did get a downburst just a bit ago. That matches your guys' reports. Otherwise, though, just some gusty winds that are not close to severe criteria elsewhere in southeast Michigan, Wayne, Washtenaw, Monroe County areas. New warning incoming now over here to the Grand Rapids. I'm going to leave this radar over here just so we have it ready. I'll go ahead and flip back over once I'm ready. Now I'm frozen. Go figure. Perks of doing things solo today. I'm doing everything and troubleshooting as I can go. Why is this not loading? There it goes. All right, back over here to the west. A new severe warning incoming for portions of Berry, Eaton, Kent, as well as Ionia counties. Very far southeast Kent, very far southwest Ionia. The central part of, east central part of Berry, the west central part of Eaton County. This is heading toward the Charlotte camera. Charlotte is currently live on our second YouTube channel, Michigan Weather Network. If you want to view the camera in the bottom left part of your screen live on that channel, you can do so anytime, as well as 6 other cameras in the state. We'll have more added soon, but for right now, just 7 cameras are live over on that channel. We'll leave that pulled up in the meantime. But otherwise, this storm is now warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail, and that did increase on the downburst signature just a bit. It has since weakened, but still went ahead and decided to put a warning on it. Freeport, Carlton, Hastings, Vermontville, Nashville, Dowling, and Banville areas. Banfield, sorry, I think I said Banville. Banfield areas. Warnings in effect for 44 minutes. Other than this, the only warning to state currently, if you're just tuning in, we're going to watch this complex across the pond in Wisconsin, moving toward West Michigan. It seems to be kind of developing further north now, too. Take a peek at the Green Bay radar. Okay, yeah, so the complex is looking better Fond du Lac and south. But this is going to push across Lake Michigan, and if it holds together, that's a question mark. If it holds together, it'll impact southwest Michigan with gusty, perhaps severe damaging winds. Currently up there at the Dream Cruise. I'll make sure my location's correct on that before I speak on it. I thought I was in Detroit. Yeah, it's in Detroit. Detroit downtown, you're good for now. There are storms to your south and west, but they're not currently heading your direction. If one pops up, that could change. Perhaps a light shower going to pass through, but otherwise, you're good for now. That's what I thought, but other people are saying it's like north of there. I was like, well, I was confused. Like maybe other towns have their knockoffs of the Dream Cruise. I don't know, but Dream Cruise itself in downtown Detroit, you're good for now, but a light shower could be coming as there are storms in the area. So we'll keep a close eye on that right now, though. As of current time, you're fine. So half the chat's saying it's in Detroit, half the chat's saying it's not Detroit. So I am so confused. I looked it up. It says Woodward Avenue, so that's Detroit. Is there a big route that goes down? Is there different ones? Like, I don't know. Help me out here, guys. I'm not a big car person. I wouldn't know. Pontiac to Royal Oak, essentially. So that's not even in Detroit. Why does it say Woodward Avenue then? I'm so confused. Primarily Southern Oakland County. Either way, though, Southern Oakland County got some rain showers in the area, but either way, if you're north of Detroit, you're still clear, so it still applies to you. So we can argue all day where it's at. So I don't know. I'll just take your guys' word from it for it. Detroit northward, you're fine minus this area over Farmington Hills with a light shower, but otherwise, nothing is heading your way at this current time. And this fire is still depicted on radar. Very potent fire still ongoing there. That is insanity. Okay. Downriver areas, yes, you do have a couple areas of storms that are ongoing heading your way. Looks like the Milan storm is really getting a nice core on that one. I'm going to take a peek over here at our airport radar, and yeah, there you go. There's a downburst ongoing over Milan. So gusty winds likely occurring there, right on US 23 in town. Also zooming out here, another downburst continues up here by Dexter. These don't appear severe in nature. This one's getting close, though. This could actually... It's very, very localized. If you live in Milan, there is a localized downburst right over town, just north of town, actually, here, where this is actually close to 50 miles per hour there. This could use a... I think it's already statemented, truthfully. But that's... Yeah, this is likely going to either A, need a warning, or B, cause a very localized pocket of heavy winds over Milan. We do have a camera over in Riverview with these storms heading that direction. We'll take a peek at that probably later on as the storms get closer. Meantime, back to the severe warning over here in West Michigan. 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail continues with this storm. And the winds with this don't appear to be... They were pretty strong when it first got warned, and since have kind of weakened out just a bit. They're not really maintaining themselves, but still got some, perhaps some hail with this. Hail tracker on that? Yeah, there you go. Hail core on that appears to be lit up there as this storm moves slowly south and east. Here's your camera on the bottom left of your screen in Riverview, which is downriver areas facing to the west-southwest. On the right side of the screen, there is your ongoing showers pushing in that direction, but otherwise all dry for the time being in Riverview. Thank you for the super chat there. I saw your comment there. It says West Siders have no idea about the Dream Cruise, but they have had Fiber Festival in Allegan this weekend. Thank you for that report. They super chat. Appreciate you supporting the page. In the meantime, though, this storm in Ann Arbor is looking like it's intensifying on the Detroit radar. It also has a little bit of a hook to it. I don't like that. One of our chasers is actually reporting some rotation with this storm in Ann Arbor, so we'll keep a close eye on that. Yeah, this is likely a very, very localized pocket. 52-mile-per-hour winds now depicted here in Milan. So if you have me watching in Milan or around the Milan region, you're likely getting slammed right now with some heavy winds. And then this over here, with this storm in Ann Arbor, may be, in fact, some brief broad rotation. Because the reds are going away from the radar, greens are going toward. This is not a downburst. That is likely some broad rotation trying to develop. It's not tight by any means, but it is worth monitoring. We have a chaser report of some weak rotation with that in the meantime. In the meantime, we'll keep a close eye on that. Latest scan for Milan does weaken out those winds just a bit. Still strong in nature, but otherwise, latest scan is weaker than the last. That's good news. Back over here to Grand Rapids. This is moving so slow. All right, well, GR2 is going to be very slow today, so I'm just going to leave it over here where I want it left. We'll take back Omega here, and we'll go ahead and run this back over here to the west side of Michigan. 2 cells developing. Had developed here. Severe warning continues for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. The hail on this appears to be the primary concern. Looks like the last scan here between Irving, Hastings, and Carlton areas would be the core of that hail. Up here by Lake Odessa would be the other. As far as the wind velocity goes, not overly strong. Thank you, Hoodies, for becoming a member. Appreciate your support of the channel. Carlton, Monroe, hearing thunder. Thank you for that report. Going further to the north, the thumb is clear. Mount Pleasant, Isabella, Midland County area got some showers and perhaps a storm moving through your way. There is a new warning incoming for Monroe and Washtenaw counties. We'll get to that in just a second. Up here in Presque County, that storm is now impacting Rogers City area, going mainly north Rogers City onto Lake Huron. But that is probably a nice doozy of a storm up just north of Rogers City. A new warning incoming from Monroe and Washtenaw counties. Get the graphic posted on that. Give me a second. We'll go ahead and cover that in just a minute. Although we kind of already know what's going on. They're trying to track that area by Milan and also the area near Ann Arbor that was increasing on velocity too, with some perhaps weak rotation noted. We'll go back and take a peek at that just a second. So this warning in effect for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. First up, we're going to take a peek on the Detroit radar. A nice pocket of gusty winds south of Ann Arbor between Saline and Arbor near Pittsfield Charter Township. And that's all I'm really seeing with that. I'm going to go ahead and switch over here to the airport radar. Overall, this is, again, a storm that doesn't appear to be overly concerning on radar for velocity, but likely is still packing a punch in localized areas, especially just east of Milan now. And also take note of that downburst going on up by the US 23 M14 94 area. This corridor right here, just south of the city itself of Ann Arbor. That still doesn't appear to be severe in nature, but likely producing some gusty winds. If you guys have reports of any severe winds, hail, or damage in the Washtenaw County area, or down here by Milan, feel free to pop it into our group on Facebook, Michigan Weather Reports. That group is there, created for you to utilize for severe weather reports. I still don't see a pending post there, so please utilize that. I cannot see pictures here in the comment section, so it does no good to drop a picture here on the live stream. New warning coming for Ingham County. Interesting. So this is so confusing because we've been talking about this pocket of this has been there all afternoon, not moving, and I wrote up a smoke, and they're warning it now. So it must not be smoke. Go figure on this. 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter-size hail. That is blowing my mind. I thought that was just smoke because it's just been sitting there for almost an hour and a half. So with that said, likely flooding with this as well. So rainfall is being picked up here too. Thank you for the super chat. Says starting to get dark in Flat Rock. Appreciate your support there. So again, severe warning: Williamston, Meridian, Pollock, Williamston. I already said that. Weberville as well. Although downtown not included, the west side of Weberville is. Looks like that's the main cities in that warning. I'll get that posted as well. Bear with me. I am working solo in here, so I'm doing graphics, I'm doing comments, I'm doing streaming, I'm doing radar, I'm doing a bunch of stuff here. So just bear with me as I navigate all of this solo today. Can somebody confirm in Williamston or Okemos Meridian area, is it raining? Is it actually raining here? Because I'm still suspicious because that has not moved in an hour and a half. So somebody please confirm, is it raining up here? Actually raining. All right, up here in Berry County. Okay, thank you, Little, for that. Sprinkling. Okay, Little, Nashville. Okay, cool. Thank you. So it is raining here. All right, back over here to this warning. Irving, Hastings, Carlton area. The core of this storm with likely some large hail and gusty winds is occurring. In fact, a new downburst ongoing here. Hastings all the way back up here toward Freeport. This is not looking overly severe at this current time, but as it does develop into a healthy downburst, that will likely continue to increase. So likely severe winds ongoing here for Hastings as well as south of Freeport near Irving and Middleville areas. That warning continues for 29 minutes, expires at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Warning over here for Washtenaw and Monroe County continues. That is in effect for another hour. And that storm appears to be intense with lightning, heavy rain, and gusty winds. Although for right now, I do not see much in the way of any intense winds, excuse me, on the DTX radar. Let's switch over here to the Detroit radar. Still not seeing anything overly concerning with this, with the Detroit airport radar either. So likely a hail and likely a heavy rain threat there. Back over here to the new statement coming in. This is going to be for Ionia, Eaton, and Berry counties. Excuse me. This is going to be a big statement. Wait for it to pop in here. Somebody cue the Jeopardy music. There it goes. Effect for 58 minutes. Wind gust up to 55 miles per hour and nickel-sized hail. 55 in Nichols is the report there. Again, nickel-sized hail is 0.88. Severe hail is 1 inch or larger. So we're close on the hail. And again, wind gusts 58 or higher are severe. This is up to 55. So we're literally just a hair below severe criteria. Excuse me. That statement for Sunfield, Mulliken, Lake Odessa area, West Sebois, Woodbury, Shaytown, and Hoytville. Further north, we did talk about these cells up here. The one near Mount Pleasant appeared to be the strongest. It still is. Otherwise, just light showers ongoing there. Not much to write home about. Taking a peek at our network of cameras, I don't see anything overly interesting to take just yet, so we'll go ahead and leave it on. We'll leave it on Six Lakes just for the time being. This appears to be the best shot of a storm. Up further north here, that storm moving through Rogers City is now back onto Huron. Got a couple showers down here by Hillman, over here in the Mayo area as well. Those are not severe or strong in nature by any means. The one over Rogers City, or just north of the city, is over Huron. That is the strongest and no longer our concern unless you're a boater. Up here in the UP, a nice chunk of rain continues into Sault Ste. Marie in Chippewa and eastern Mackinac counties. All right, here we go back to the south here. Going back to southeast Michigan. Continuing this warning for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. The hail on this storm appears to be the greatest threat. The hail core, as of 5:27 p.m., located just south of 94 over US 12 and US 23, heading to the south side of Ypsi toward Willis. The warning up here in Ingham County now. Good hail core over Okemos, north of Meridian, west of Williamston. Also with this, likely going to see some damage or some gusty winds as well. This warning is for quarter size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. And again, over here in Barry County, as well as portions. Yeah, there we go. There we talk about this increasing. And there you go, the bright green there. This is going to be over Wood School Road, now moving a little bit further to the north here. Solomon Road. Crane Road, Solomon Road area. That's going to be really gusty winds, perhaps severe winds, north and west of Hastings. Thank you for becoming a member there, JD. Will I get hit if I live in Detroit? Currently on radar, no. There are no storms in downtown Detroit, but that does not mean one could pop up between now and this evening, so keep your guard up, but right now you are all clear. Roads are flooded in Ipsy. Not surprised by that at all. Looks like 94 is becoming rain embedded from about 275 over to about US 12 area, perhaps up toward the Chelsea area too. So likely, if you're on 94 between, we're going to say Belleville to Chelsea, be on the lookout for flooded roadways there. Tweet me a picture. Yes. Thank you for the super chat there. Tweet the MI Storm Chasers Twitter or X, what do you want to call it. I'll look for that here. Thank you for that. Also, thank you, Jeff, for that video on X as well. It is raining hard in the Okemos area. It's also gusty. The strongest storm is going to be this one in the Irving area. Let's go ahead and take back our Lowell camera as that has a direct view of it. Although it's still a distance away, but it's the best view we're going to have. There we go. Bottom left of your screen is going to be that cell. You see over the downtown buildings in Lowell, there is the storm that is currently warned for your quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. You'll be the first comment I saw about my sound being low. Is my sound low, guys? I can turn it up. I have not touched in over 2 months, so. If I need to adjust, let me know. I can turn it up. Okay, thank you, guys. Apologies about that. Just banging my microphone. All right. Again, bear with me. I'm working things solo today, so I'm trying to keep up with 15 different things at once. The strongest of storms currently is over the Irving and Hastings area in this severe warning in Barry County. I also want to take note from the Grand Rapids radar. We do have perhaps some very brief rotation developing here on the backside of this cell in Ingham County. It's not likely surface based. In fact, let's go and take Detroit's radar on this just in case. They're both depicting it. So perhaps some broad rotation now on the Ingham County cell. We're going to watch that closely. Now, down here in Washtenaw as well as northern Monroe County, this continues for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds in the Milan Ypsilanti area, US 23, US 12, 94 region. This is going to be a yellow polygon. Severe warning in effect for 50 more minutes. Expires at roughly 6:30 p.m. So 2 warnings here on your screen are the most concerning I see. I'm going to take a peek down here in the Detroit radar, and yes, this is not looking overly concerning. Some gusty winds here for sure. Denton, Rawsonville, Belleville area, as well as over here. Looks to be just south of Ypsilanti, directly south of 94 there. Gusty winds ongoing. Doesn't appear to be strong or severe, or doesn't appear to be severe. It is strong though. A lot of lightning with that storm and also flooding potential. Otherwise, I want to focus in on likely what is severe and what is the most concerning over here in Williamston County, in Ingham County as well as Berry County. Why are people saying they cannot hear me? There's like 4 comments in here, but they cannot hear me. I don't understand. I don't understand this. So, okay, perfect. I guess we have trolls in the chat today. If you can't hear me, legitimately turn your volume up, because I have 99 people saying they can hear me just fine and like 2 saying they can't. So, all right. Mods, ping me if there's an audio issue, please. I'm going to stop looking at chat for right now. For the audio issues, at least. Appreciate you guys. Overall, the Berry County cell appears to be on the weakening trend. Going back a couple scans, you can see the brighter greens there. That's where the strongest winds occurred. Probably some damage or some tree limb damage on the Wood School Road area. Back up here toward Solomon Road. That general region likely got some gusty winds that probably took down some tree limbs at very least. New statement. Excuse me. Sorry. New statement incoming for Midland County. Midland, Sanford, this is going to be the cell right here along US 10, M20. It is going to be for 50-mile-per-hour winds and pea-size hail. 50-mile-per-hour winds and pea-size hail. Yeah, some counties and some cities do sound sirens for severe warnings. So it doesn't have to be a tornado warning to hear sirens. If you are hearing sirens currently, there is no tornado warning in the state. In fact, there's very little rotation. We were watching the Ingham County cell potentially for some very weak rotation, but that wouldn't warrant mention of any siren soundings or anything like that. But yeah, some counties do sound their sirens for simple severe warnings. So do take that in consideration. They are called outdoor warning sirens. They're not called tornado sirens. current time is 5:44 p.m. Eastern. We're about 20 seconds away from 5:45 p.m. Eastern, Saturday afternoon. If you are watching and you are not synced up with your time, refresh the stream and get caught back up. I see a couple comments getting lagged behind here, so just make sure you are caught up with us and active and live with us. Hold on. I gotta fix something on the page. Okay, there we go. Looks like a never mind. Looking for new information, but it's not new information. All right, back to the radar here. A new statement incoming for Ingham and Eaton County. I assume for this cell right here over Eaton Rapids. Likely developing a good core on it. They're going with 50-mile-per-hour winds and penny-sized hail for that Eaton Rapids cell. Includes southwestern Ingham and the southeast corner of Eaton. All right, back over here. There's your new box popping on your screen there. It's very far southwest Ingham, very far southeast Eaton corner. Severe warning, 3 of them in effect. Number 1, while we're here at Ingham County, the Williamston, the Okemos area, over toward Weberville, I-96 corridor. This has sat here for the greater part of almost 2 hours, and I kind of personally wrote it off as smoke because we have a big fire somewhere in the area. But alas, they went ahead and put a warning on it, and alas, it is actually raining here. So it is not smoke, it is actually a storm. Quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds is your hazard there. And then as we go back further south, here in Washtenaw and northern Monroe County, this warning continues as well for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Looking at the wind velocities here, I don't see anything concerning there for damaging winds on the airport radar. Looking at the hail tracker on this, the storm has weakened quite a bit. Looking at the CC, don't see too much in the way of anything indicating hail. And this is 20 minutes old on the hail tracker, so that's not really accurate. So we're going to flip back over here to the radar. And then I think the strongest storm was this one over here. Let's take a look at that again. And I can say yes, kind of still is. But most of those winds are now outside the warning polygon, not severe. They're in Kent County right now by Caledonia, just south of Lowell. Thank you for month number 8 there. N8 says, I'm watching. I can hear you now. I put my glasses on. Thank you for that lighthearted comment. I appreciate you. Things can become stressful sometimes, especially doing things solo. At least so far, we are not experiencing an outbreak or a big day so far. I mean, we have like 3 or 4 warnings already so far. So, I mean, it's a good day so far for severe, but it could be a lot worse. Let's put it that way. Kalamazoo Candy says, my son went to Latitude 42 today and bought a MSC t-shirt and a cup. I was at work. That is awesome. So first off, thank you for your support with Super Chat there. And also, shout out to your son for going to Latitude 42, meeting the guys, and getting some of your MSC swag. Appreciate your support in both departments there. All right, let's go further north here. We have a couple statements up there by Midland. This is for 50-mile-per-hour winds. It's going to be over M20, just south of US 10. Also, we had a cell that was tracking just north of Rogers City that went over Lake Huron, and that is now completely off of land onto the lake. Got some pop-ups now ranging from M65 down toward Mayo, all the way down here toward the West Branch area. Let's check in across the lake here with our complex that is in Wisconsin. Good news is it is weakening. It was a pretty potent line. The latest scan is showing a weakening trend here. The southern part of this cell is still looking pretty potent, but the bulk and the main part of that line is weak. So cross your fingers and hope it... Well, we need rain. So we need rain. So hopefully it holds together rain-wise, but let's hope the severe aspect of it weakens out and does not affect us tonight in Southwest Michigan. Truthfully, on their wind velocity here, I don't see anything that would suggest severe is occurring with any of these cells. Anybody in chat here experiencing really strong winds right now, and not just a gusty wind, I'm talking like really strong winds. Anybody in chat, let me know where you're at if you're getting those strong winds. Thunder in Tecumseh, that is my neck of the woods. And you're likely hearing that from a cell just to your north that is weaker in nature. Janelle, I will have Joel pop it on here in about an hour to help me. So I will be good later on tonight. In the meantime, though, we have about an hour to get through. Hopefully these warnings get dropped and pop out of here early. That's always the goal. But we have 3 warnings in effect here. I do not... think, or currently at this current time, I don't see anything that is warranting a new severe warning at least. All these warnings here, the one in Berry County primarily, it ends in 8 minutes. Ingham County ends in 23 minutes, and the one in Washtenaw Monroe ends in 38 minutes. And I would not be shocked if the one in Washtenaw Monroe County gets ended early. The storm in Tecumseh has a nice core, so that will likely increase. That's actually going to head my way. Let's go ahead and pop open my house camera. This is actually MSCHQ, as we call it. This is looking at the storm. And you can see the edge of that ring of storm there is heading my direction. So there we go. There's a view of that storm heading toward Tecumseh. This is in Britain, to be exact. So this is looking northwest at that storm over Clinton and Tecumseh. Latest scan does increase that as well. So no surprise there. Let's go ahead and take a peek on the airport radar. And another downburst ongoing just south of Oakville here. That's a very good depiction of one. You know, you kind of see the greens and reds coming together. You think rotation, but when you animate that, they're going apart from each other. That's a downburst. Very easy to see on radar. Miniature downburst, but still gusty winds in a very localized pocket here just south of Oakville here in northern Monroe County. So with that said, let's go ahead and go further north and switch back over here to the Radar Omega product here. The rotation we were kind of tracking in Ingham County was very weak and very brief in nature, so that didn't really come of anything. Could have been a downburst actually as well. With this location, the radar beam is really high up, both radar sites, and sometimes we can get some bad looking data coming in there. So overall, not seeing too much there to be concerned about Ingham County any further. We have Joel camera live with us. We do not have Joel camera live with us. Negative. Joel, if you're listening, I do not have you. While we're here, though, let's go ahead and cycle through our chaser pool and to see if anybody else is out there besides Drew. So far, we got nobody. They're all at the Latitude 42 meetup. Negative on chasers out there. We're going to leave Joel on the screen just in case he pops on here. Wouldn't be shocked if these warnings get dropped early or canceled, especially the one over here in Barrie. Although, let me check on the hail tracker on this. Yeah, wouldn't be shocked if they went ahead and canceled the Barrie one early, or expired it early, should I say. The one in Ingham County, I'm kind of feeling the same way about that one. Although I do believe it's gustier than I think the other ones are. But the one down here in Monroe and Washtenaw is not very impressive either. It's off the Detroit radar. Off of the airport radar, though, it's still not really impressive at all. So hopefully these warnings will expire soon. If they do expire soon, maybe we'll pop out of here. In fact, the warning for Barrie County, as well as the portion of, I think it was Kent and Ionia, I don't know what counties, Barrie, Eaton, Ionia, those have been expired, and that storm is now statemented for 50-mile-per-hour winds. We have Excorium gifting 10 memberships, so appreciate your support. Welcome to the team, guys. Just got gifted. Those will expire in 30 days automatically. If you want to stay a member, you can up that yourself after 30 days. Well, we do have a Joel camera with us. It's just his screen share. So let me do something real quick with mine. Give me 1 second here to pop this in with us. We're gonna try something real quick. I'm gonna hope this works. Aha. I think I fixed it. There we go. Joel's gonna be up in the top right of your screen now. So we got Drew, we got Joel, and we got the camera network. Excuse me. In the bottom left, this is my house. Bottom left of your screen, that's looking to the northwest with that storm incoming. Joel is going to be, I'm assuming, in the Kalamazoo County area, as well as Drew somewhere. Drew's actually in Van Buren County. So we're going to have visuals from our chasers and our cameras all afternoon and evening long. Beautiful clouds up here in Ludington. Our new camera, set of cameras actually, courtesy of Ludington area JC's Mini Golf. This is looking north on the Aurora camera. Go ahead and pull it full screen for you guys, because heck, why not? Pop that off your screen. Pop open the 4-panel. There we go. Perfect. This is looking north on the Aurora camera out of Ludington. And then also we have a west camera looking over the Lake Michigan, our second Lake Michigan camera. Same spot there, courtesy of Ludington JC's Mini Golf. So appreciate them for sponsoring these two cameras and giving us a much needed view along Lake Michigan. So appreciate you guys. Back over here to the radar. The warning for Ingham County until 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time. And Detroit has continued the warning in Washtenaw and Monroe counties for 30 more minutes, but I'm going to predict they're going to expire that one fairly soon. Looking at the velocities here, I just don't see much of anything ongoing here, besides a little pocket of gusty winds just very far south, very far northern, should I say, Monroe County in the southern part of that polygon. They're going at the new severe warning incoming now. Let's go ahead and take a trip up to the north. And we'll see what they do here. Will it be for the northern cell or the southern cell? I'm going to guess the southern cell, just as a guessing game here. There it is. So new statement for me, actually. That's going to be a statement for me. We'll go over this in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and get these graphics posted. As mentioned a few times before, I am solo today, so just kind of bear with me as I do multiple things here, including running the page and doing the streaming ops here as well. So give me 1 second to get this handled. All right, let's go ahead and dive into this. New warning in effect for southwest Ingham County and a very far extreme corner of southeast Ingham. 60-mile-per-hour winds is your only hazard with that storm. 60 mile-per-hour winds. I don't see much. Is there a source on this? Rare indication. I don't see much here indicating that severe winds are occurring on radar. But again, this is about 3,000 to 4,000 feet in the atmosphere, so we could be missing things here. Also, new flood advisory in effect for Meridian, Okemos, and Williamston areas. That green box there, that's kind of horizontally shaped. That's going to be a flood advisory in effect there for likely some flooding on the roadways there. Not surprised by that at all. Been live here for just under, actually, we're about the two-hour mark right here in about 30 seconds. That is a beautiful, beautiful view in Ludington. I love those clouds. In the meantime, though, I don't have any cameras. We don't have any cameras from Howell, Brighton, over to Lansing yet. So we're working with a few people, but overall, just not seeing anything on our camera network. We don't have any chasers out there either. So unfortunately, kind of flying blind. The good news, though, Washtenaw and Monroe County warning has now expired. The bad news is we didn't mention the new statement incoming for my neck of the woods in Lenawee County. So over Clinton, Tecumseh, Britton, Macon areas. It's going to be over Tecumseh-Clinton Road here, just south of Clinton-Macon. The core of the storm heading to the east-southeast toward my house. Pop my camera on the screen for you guys. MSC HQ camera. I am going to turn my camera off, and I'm going to get up and stretch just for a second. I'm getting kind of cramped in here. The good news, though, is I can stay live with you guys. Switch my source over here to my headset. You guys should still be able to hear me just fine. If you guys cannot, feel free to let me know. But in the meantime, I'm going to stretch my legs out and just get a good workout, some blood pumping, you know. These storms move into the east-southeast at 10 to 25 miles per hour. 10 to 25 miles per hour. So that's pretty slow, and that's why we're seeing the flooding risk today across some of these areas. Yeah, if I lose power, it's over. If I lose power, it's over. I don't have any backup for right now, at least. So if I happen to do lose power, just for the off chance I do, we'll be probably streaming from my phone, LTE. Is it going to get back for Ingham County? I mean, bad. So Ingham County right now, you have a couple cells popping up there. I personally don't see anything on radar indicating that strong winds are occurring, but because we're so high up in the atmosphere here at this location, like 3 to 4,000 feet, I'm probably not seeing much of the real surface data in this area. So if you guys live in these yellow polygons, Williamston, down here toward Onondaga, Leslie, Eaton Rapids, Eden areas, anywhere in those yellow polygons, let me know if you guys are getting damaging or at least very strong winds within those, because that would help me out, probably help the public out, kind of figure out what's going on here. I will say a downburst signature is ongoing here over 127 near Eden, just south of Mason, so likely strong winds occurring there for sure. Not much wind, heavy rain in Leslie, says Trinity. Trees look still. So from what it sounds like, everybody's saying that not much wind going on here. If there's anything to be concerned about, it's going to be over Eden, Leslie area. Likely some. That also could be a bit of rotation too. I'm going to keep a close eye on that. See how it acts, because the reds are going away from the radar, greens are going toward. That could, if it tries to tighten up, doesn't move away from each other, that could try to be some rotation developing there. Again, we'll keep a close eye on that. Next couple scans will tell the picture of that. But the good news is we are down to one warning, and that is what we're covering right now in Ingham County. Williamston, we have rotating rain clouds with some wind. Thank you for that report. I don't see any rotation on radar for you guys. Likely some gusty winds, though, for sure, moving those curtains around. If there is rotation, it's not being depicted by radar. Thank you for the report, though. Appreciate it. I'll tell you what, stretching does feel good every once in a while, so I'm happy. I think we're blessed here too at MSC. We're not a news station. We don't have to stay in front of a camera and point at a green screen for 5 hours on end. We sit at a desk. We can get up and move. We can eat. We can do whatever we need to do. We're independent. I love the ability to do that. So one of the perks of being independent. So I am back, by the way. I'm sitting back from my computer here. And of course, my camera is off. Give me a second. There we go. Nice stretch there. I am ready to go for another couple hours if need be. Although Joel's going to be backing me up here pretty soon. He is on his way home, I believe. So with that said, we'll have Joel in the studio perhaps later on tonight. In the meantime, though, this storm heading my direction is looking pretty darn gusty on radar via latest scan. But also, I want to take a note, bottom left of your screen. That is a camera that is pushing my direction. In fact, there is a likely downburst ongoing south of Clinton, just east of M52 here, probably close to Matthews Highway. I know this area like the back of my hand. In fact, I was just chasing this area back a month or so ago on Matthews Highway in this exact area live with you guys. You guys recall that stream. I was taking some pretty good winds. I got a nice shelf cloud there. There's actually some damage there too. So likely some strong winds just south of Clinton. Matthews Highway comes to Clinton Road, probably Clinton Macon here. That general area. So with that said, I am going to pop my camera back out, probably leave it out just because I may want to run outside here and stay live with you guys. I can do that. I got my headset on. I'll stay connected as well. So I'm going to keep a close eye on this. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and take back the Omega radar, and I am going to take back to the severe warning over here in Onondaga, Eaton Rapids area. This is going to be a severe warning in effect for just 60-mile-per-hour winds. Thank you, Wise Patty, becoming a member here at MSC. Appreciate your support of the channel. You are much appreciated, as well as other people I may have missed. I know the chat's flying by today. I apologize if I missed you guys. I'm doing a million things at once here, so I know I missed some. So if you're watching, I didn't call you out by name or specifically. I do appreciate your support. And as always, welcome to the team. For those of you who just got joined up with us here at MSC. So, with that said, the focus can remain on this storm, which is good news. But I also want to take a peek around the state too, just because we have other people watching. I am concerned for these two cells in Lenawee and Monroe counties. I would expect them perhaps to become warned again if they continue to intensify. So, worth keeping a close eye on here as these push the direction toward me. Further north, up in the Midland area, this storm is moving to, it's not really a storm anymore. It's just a shower. So heaviest of rain, perhaps a lightning strike just south of Midland there. It has weakened out significantly. I would expect that to be carrying minimal to no threat from here on out. Going up further north to northeast lower up here in West Branch toward Mayo, should I say. Ossining, you guys have some widely scattered showers pushing to the east-southeast here. Nothing strong or severe at this current time. UP, clearing out just some rain showers in Chippewa, Mackinac counties. The worst of it is now over Canada, as well as St. Joseph Island here, last part of the Michigan soil. All right, back down further south here to Wisconsin, tracking that line that was pushing our way. It has weakened out significantly. And as a result, we'll have to keep an eye on how tonight evolves, because this is the second line that has weakened over the lake or just about on the lake. So we'll see. I do expect more storms tonight and perhaps even an overnight period. So stay tuned. It's not over after this first round. We do have chances throughout the evening and overnight. We'll keep you guys updated on that. But for right now, we are focused in on one, perhaps more incoming severe weather here for Lenawee and Monroe counties. Speaking of which, checking back here, yes, downburst ongoing in the Clinton area, Lenawee County, north of Tecumseh. Very typical downburst here that's ongoing. This may get warned, but we'll see. These downbursts today have been pretty brief in nature, so I wouldn't expect it to be very long-lived. But if you're in that Clinton area between Tecumseh and Clinton, you likely are being impacted by strong winds, perhaps very isolated in nature, severe winds. The good news, though, is the airport radar is very close to the ground. The strongest pixel I'm getting is right here, 42 miles per hour. So it was a bit stronger earlier. We had a pocket here of about 45, 50 mile per hour winds, and that since weakened just a bit. So good news there. Hopefully that continues to weaken, and it does. Got a pocket now of 47, though. A pixel, should I say, of 47. But still, likely some strong winds going on there. Also up here by Oakville, maybe the Dundee area. Seeing a downburst begin here as well between maybe and Dundee. Those are the main areas. All right, we'll leave it right here. We're going to take a peek back over here at the good old Radar Omega software. Take a peek down here at Lenawee County from Detroit's radar. Not much going on there on radar there, but also take consideration perhaps some upper level rotation or some clutter there just south of mile with that cell over Monroe County. We'll keep an eye on that. Although this warning continues in Ingham County for 17 minutes, gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour is possible with that storm. Look at these clouds. Those are something else. Very elevated in nature, very turbulent. So cool clouds there, courtesy of the Ludington area JC's mini golf. Recent camera put up a few days ago, actually, this past week, should I say. All right, I'm going to refill my water here real quick. I also want to take note on the bottom of your screen there. I'm going to enlarge it here just a second. But if we take a peek, I'm going to do this full, take this back here. Over here, it appears to be a roll cloud, a very long roll cloud. Does the north camera have that? It does, and that is indeed a roll cloud. So check that out. If you're on, hold on, I got you guys. Hold on. There we go. There's your roll cloud on Ludington camera. So if you're on the beach from Manistee down to Ludington area, look to your west, you have a roll cloud incoming that is indicative of just, it's nothing wind-wise or, it's hard to explain how it basically forms, but it's kind of like a shelf cloud, but it does not indicate severe winds like a shelf cloud can. It's just a really cool cloud. So take some pictures of that if you guys are on the beach there. That's really cool. Keep an eye on that camera as it gets closer. Up in Manistee, we do have a less organized roll cloud, but still looks like a base movement in here as well. All right, good news though. Some good news. Finally, after almost 2 hours of constant severe warnings, we are in statement ops. So what that means is we have dropped all severe warnings for now. I'm probably going to jinx it because we're probably going to warn Lenawee Monroe. We know how it goes. But for the right now, we are in statement ops. So no severe storms are ongoing in the state of Michigan. In the meantime, though, strong winds still ongoing here in northern Lenawee and northern Monroe counties and pockets toward Clinton, as well as moving toward the Dundee area. Very interesting hook here on radar via the airport radar in Monroe County. Nothing rotation on radar, but I do know we talked about this on the DTX radar further north, um, and it had perhaps some broad rotation. Yeah, check that out. Let's it's clear air, I think. Let's check that out more advanced. This is why we have GR2. So we have a nice hook on radar here. No rotation there. Let's go up in height. This is 4,000 feet, 26,000 feet. Yikes. Okay. Interesting. I'm just analyzing it as I go with height. That's all I'm doing. It appears that there could be an upper level mesocyclone, some rotation with this storm that is not yet reaching the ground. So we're going to watch Monroe County closely. Um, it's got so many boundaries here, but it is hooking as well. So very closely monitoring that storm. I don't think it'll reach the ground, but it looks like it's rotating there above the surface. We're going to watch that very closely. With that said, we're going to pop in with the Omega radar and say the exact same thing about what appears to be that cell over here in Lenawee County. Some upper level rotation with that one being depicted. It appears as well. Let's go ahead and toggle this back and forth, shall we? Let's go ahead and go up with height with this one. Okay, that one doesn't have it as defined, at least. And I'm not seeing anything of concern with that one. All right, cool. So, at least for right now, the Lenawee County cell is just gusty. Monroe County cell appears to have upper level mesocyclone in it. With that said, let's go ahead and take back my radar or my camera at my house. It is raining. at MSCHQ. Did something pop out ahead of it? Nope, it's just already arrived. So we missed out on the arrival of that storm, but no thunder yet, at least. Just some heavier rain right now. Current outages in the state are at 7,167. 7,167 is the number of outages across Michigan. So that's actually a decently low number in comparison to previous events. It's good news. Very good news. The storm up here in Ingham County has since been weakened, and as a result, the warning has been dropped in favor of a statement. We could technically end it, but I'm not going to, just because these two cells in Lenawee Monroe County have my eye. And for this, because we're now focusing on two areas, I want to focus in a little bit better with the airport radar. And that cell continues to intensify, or continues to maintain its strong winds here, if not a bit of intensification south and east of Clinton, just north of Tecumseh. The green box over Brighton is a flood advisory. We have two of those in the state. That is a flood advisory due to recent heavy rains. I believe we had like 3.5 inches at the time. Yeah, we have about 3.5 inches of almost 4 inches in spots here, just south of 96, east of Genoa, and also up here in Ingham County between Okemos and Williamston. That is, again, about 4 inches of rain in localized areas. So localized, very localized pockets of likely localized flooding. Also, keep in mind that this cell in Monroe County, just north of Dundee, is intensifying as well. Looks like this is going to be some gustier winds, about, whoopsies. We're going to say probably right around 5 miles north of Dundee. So two pockets here of gusty winds. One north of Tecumseh, one north of Dundee, likely 40, if not 50 mile per hour winds. And there is the first crack of thunder here at my house. And yes, what Sarah said in the chat is right. On Facebook, there are no warnings in effect in the state of Michigan at this current time. Although, look at the latest scan for Monroe County, I would not be shocked if we have an incoming warning for this cell just north of Dundee. I do not have road names on this at this current time, and I really wish Radar Omega was working with their feeds here, because for some reason they saying it's down. It's not down, it's active. I really wish they'd fix this, because this I can zoom in here and actually get like road names and stuff like that, but I can't with this. So I unfortunately have to switch over to GR2. It's not a bad practice. I'd like to get your road names here at the very least. In the meantime, this is continuing to intensify. 53-mile-per-hour pixels here, just north of Dundee, still on the north side, closer to Oakville, west of Maybe. On the north side of this, about 40-mile-per-hour winds, and the thunder is really picking up here at my house. I'm going to check our chasers, rotating up in the top left there. Make sure no one else is live that I'm missing. I'm going to guess there's going to be a warning incoming from Monroe if we get another scan with this storm, because it's pretty close to severe criteria. It's on the ground, not on the ground, but the winds are close to the ground. I want to be careful when I say on the ground. What I mean by that is the radar beam here is super low, so what's happening on radar is very close to the ground. So when you hear me say on the ground, I'm not talking tornadoes. I'm talking like what's happening on radar. Yeah, latest scan, very intense downburst now. 60-mile-per-hour winds now, about to cross US 23 just north of Dundee. That is at severe criteria, and that will likely be warned here in the coming seconds, if not minutes. This is very intense here. This is just down the road from me too. So let's go ahead and try and get some roads on that. If we zoom in, this is Dundee. We're looking at probably Ann Arbor Road here. What's out here? This is a London area, Azalea. Probably between Azalea and Dundee here is going to be that downburst, and that's going to be likely producing severe wind gusts. No warning on it at this current time. I assume they're going to issue one here soon. Latest scan continues, 56-mile-per-hour winds, basically right on US 23. So if you're driving on US 23 between Dundee and Milan, probably severe winds occurring in localized pockets there just north of Dundee by about 2 or 3 miles. This downburst is heading back my direction, so we'll keep an eye on that. Also, Clinton, east of Clinton in Lenawee County is also quite gusty in nature. This is the most, this is probably the most intense downburst signature I've seen all day. So, interesting, they're not going to warn this. If they're probably drawn a polygon now, or if they're not going to warn it, we'll see what they do. Latest couple scans is weakening out, so that's at least good news. Now bound to 46 miles per hour, so it was a very localized, very brief pocket there of severe winds, but now appears to be weakening just a tad bit here, but still quite strong in nature. And have to blow your trash cans and perhaps some small branches down with 45 mile per hour winds in some localized spots. Right over US 23, directly north of the town of Dundee in Monroe County. Also, latest scan over here by Clinton increases that velocity signature just to the east of Clinton, south of US 12, south of the Washtenaw County line. This is going to be just north of Tecumseh, probably located directly over Clinton-Macon Road. It's an east-west road going out of Clinton. In the meantime, the Ludington camera down there in the bottom left is a little gusty in nature, but overall not enough to warrant mention of severe winds or strong winds there. New statement incoming. Kind of surprised there was a statement instead of a warning with this. Let's go ahead and take a peek at that one once it pops in. Although I'm not surprised by it per se because it's weakening now. I'm just a little surprised I didn't pull a trigger on a warning for that cell earlier. You know what I mean? This statement's going to be for wind gusts to 50 and nickel-sized hail. That seems to be a fair statement. No pun intended. Fair statement for that storm at this point. Wind gusts to 50, nickel-sized hail. That's going to be directly for Summerfield, Dundee, Petersburg, Raisinville Township, should I say, Ida, Maybe, and Azalea areas. That's in effect for 47 minutes. Not a warning, but a statement nonetheless. And statements are just a step below a severe warning. So taking a peek back here at the radar, those brighter reds, brighter greens are your bigger wind velocities. So very localized pockets of those happening. We have one just east of Clinton, Lenawee County. We have a bigger one in Monroe County, just north of Dundee, up to about that Milan, Oakville area. Latest scan does maintain, if not increase, that downburst in Monroe County just a bit. Also taking note that my rain gauge is alerting me that the rainfall rate is over 1 inch per hour. So not likely, I am observing here at the office heavy rainfall here in Britain. Bear with me here as I get this statement posted. I believe Joel's going to be back in about 30 or so minutes to help out here. And if that is the case, I will likely stop the stream and switch off and have him take over. Currently, no warnings in effect. So we have a report of damage in Milan. Not surprised by that at all with that previous storm. I believe I called out Milan several times on stream here for that localized pocket of damaging wind. It appears there is damage, tree damage, in the city of Milan, so that's no surprise there. That was on the previous warning. So I'm going to put it this way. If you live in Dundee, I know the audience, there's got to be a few people watching from Dundee. So this is like my hometown area. So I know we have followers from this area. If you're in Dundee, be inside and away from windows. Likely strong winds about to impact the city or the town. Probably between 45 and 55 mile per hour winds. Isolated higher amounts possible, but right now, if you're in Dundee, take shelter indoors as this heads your way. In fact, latest scan increase even further, heading right into Dundee. 52 mile per hour winds now moving into town. So if you're in Dundee, please be inside, away from windows. Same thing applies up here between Clinton and Tecumseh, inside away from windows, as strong winds are occurring with this cell as well. This one in Monroe County could use a warning. I'll put it that way. It's re-intensifying. It's just below severe criteria, but it's re-intensifying once again. It's a little bit longer lived than most of the storms have been today. So I would expect them to warn this still at some point, unless it weakens out and stays weak. But right now it is intensifying. Looks like we lost Drew. He's going to head home and reevaluate his chase plans. In the meantime, you can enjoy 2 joules in the top right. No, I'm kidding. I'll take one off. There we go. So yeah, Dundee impacted here by 50 mile per hour winds momentarily. Up here near the Azalea area, also getting impacted by those winds. Let's take a zoomed out look though. Let's go around the state. We haven't done that in a while. Detroit radar. Nothing from Detroit, Dearborn, Livonia north. Storms continue to be ongoing here in Ingham County. No severe weather is currently for Ingham County, or no warnings in effect, should I say. Up here, this storm was stated and has since weakened. And then our storms further north, even further north, up by Rogers City, have moved on to Huron into Canada. And these showers down here in the Tawas City area have just kind of been showers and not really strengthening into much at all. Now, over here over the lake, we do have a nice blob of rain moving into West Michigan. So a nice light, perhaps soaking rain for areas like Frankfort, Manistee, Ludington. And then we have a more potent line down here that appears to be diving southward. And on its current trajectory will likely either clip very far southwest Michigan or perhaps dive into Indiana, Illinois, and miss Michigan altogether. Models still show more storms later tonight. We are not done yet, okay? I'm going to hammer that home. Excuse me. Models do show more storms later tonight, so we are not done just yet. All right, back down here to the airport radar in Monroe County. Latest scan continues to move gusty winds into Dundee, as well as the Azalea areas, as well as Tecumseh, just north of Tecumseh now. Although the one over here in Monroe County is the only storm really focusing in on the state. It's the strongest one at the current time. It's also right down the road from me, so it's more so local to me. So it kind of works out. Likely moving into M50 corridor here, US 23 on Ann Arbor Road, that general area. The good news with this is the past couple of scans, you can see the brighter reds have turned a little bit darker reds, indicating the winds are coming down. We're weakening just a bit. If that continues, I'll probably hop out of here, truthfully, and let Joel take over here about 7 o'clock. But in the meantime, I will do this. Just because we're weakening in nature, I do want to shout out our sponsors while we have a second to do so. So I'll pop myself off the screen here. Our sponsors are here to help you guys in the event of any damage you occur during thunderstorms, whether it's tree damage, whether it's roof damage, siding damage, or insurance adjustment, or even stuff like powder coating or security audio and video needs. We have you guys covered here with our sponsors and trusted partners at Michigan Storm Chasers. So let's go ahead and start with our first sponsor, StormGuard Roofing and Construction in Detroit Metro North area. Lifestyle Exteriors in the Lansing area up to Traverse City. Katz Roofing and Siding based in Powderville. Mike Hayes Roofing and Siding based in the Thumma, Michigan. McKay Tree Specialist in Southeast Michigan. If you guys had tree damage today and need help cleaning it up, get a hold of McKay. They're your person to get a hold of in Southeast Michigan. Kuiper Tree Care, if you guys had damage over in the west side of Michigan today, they're your West Michigan tree care partner. FBI Buildings across much of Lower Michigan. On Top Roofing in Livingston County. Schneider Commercial Building Solutions across Michigan. Shield Public Adjusters across Michigan. Top Gun Roofing and Exteriors in the West Michigan area. A-Class Construction Restoration, Mason County. Rainbow Restoration in Kent County. Rapid Radios, our communication sponsor. American Arbor, very far southwest Michigan tree partner there. Apex Restoration out of Grand Blanc. And last but not least, Guardian Technologies, our Skycam sponsor, and also providing audio, video, security, access control, etc. needs. I appreciate our partners here supporting us and also provide services to you guys in the event you happen to need their services. Alrighty, so do we hop off or do we continue to monitor these two storms? Because right now they have weakened well below severe criteria. We're at 40 mile per hour winds now heading into Dundee, so that was good news for Dundee. Just north of town here, you had 50, 55, sometimes 60 mile per hour winds in spots. And as it moved toward Dundee, has weakened out and is now appears to be 40 or so mile per hour winds, if not below that. So overall, these two storms have weakened to a point where I'm comfortable personally popping off for right now. I know Joel's going to be on here in about 20 or so minutes to help out. But in the meantime, I'm comfortable ending it. You tell me, guys. Do I stay for a few more minutes or do I pop out? You are clear in Grand Blanc at the current moment. It is Grand Blanc. You cannot tell me otherwise. It is Grand Blanc. It's not Grand Blanc. We are not going to argue about that in chat. Let me go ahead and ask Joel where he's at on his drive home. He told me he'll be set up around 7, so I'll ask him here. If he's close, I'll pop off. Yeah, it's Grand Blanc, like you're shooting blanks. It is not Blanc. We are not French. Well, in the meantime, while I wait for an answer out of Joel here, let's go ahead and take a peek at our Skycam, shall we? I always like doing this. This is like my personal project. I work with Guardian Technologies directly. We coordinate with offices and businesses across the states. This is my project along with, his name is Garen from Guardian. He is my go-to guy. We love to talk about cameras and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and talk about our Skycam sponsors, shall we? We have almost 34 cameras now. Adrian, my neck of the woods here, courtesy of Adrian Sign, Midas Auto Service Experts. This is a great view to the southwest. We have Allegan County. This camera came in handy earlier on the stream, courtesy of Cole Concrete. Do this for you, actually. Let's go ahead and pop this off screen. There we go. We have the Marble Springs Campground camera. This is our newest camera installed yesterday. I have not announced on the page. Sneak peek for you guys. This is our new camera in Allen, Michigan, which is just to the east of Coldwater, courtesy of Marble Springs Campground. We have Blissfield, Stitches and Stems looking southeast in downtown Blissfield. We have My House, MSCHQ. We have Miracles Landscape Supply over in Centerville on the west side of Michigan. The Charlotte Fire Department. This is a live camera as well as Allen, the Marble Springs Campground. You can find that one and Charlotte live on Michigan Weather Network on YouTube. Mirestone Ranch in Chelsea. Looking to the south there. Allcom in Commerce Township up in the Walled Lake, Wolverine Lake area, East Michigan. Crystal Lake House Rentals. They're on Crystal Lake. Dearborn, Michigan. We got the Apex camera in the Grand Blanc area. This is a North Aurora camera. And we also have a South camera there at the same site, courtesy of Apex Restoration. Harbor Beach. The Busher septic tank excavating camera in Holland. This might be one of my favorite cameras because a very clear view to the west, and we needed so desperately a West Michigan camera. So I want to appreciate and thank you to Bushers for stepping up and doing this. We need this camera. It's really good. I like the view. Raptor Industries in Hudson, Michigan, looking to the north. Aurora camera there, also to the south, facing the Ohio border. Thank you, Raptor Industries, for that. The Old Stone Porch in Ionia, wedding venue there. If you guys need an outdoor barn-style wedding, they are the ones for you. We have the Storm Guard camera, one of our sponsors, as well as a camera sponsor now in Lake Orion. We got the Rogers Neighborhood Realty camera in Lowell, facing south. One of our newest cameras, Ludington area JC's Mini Golf, West camera, as well as North Aurora camera. We have the Manistee cameras on the Hampton Inn up there. Of course, the infamous Aurora camera that we've talked about on our page so often. We also have the West weather camera that I'm going to switch to here. If I can click on this, there we go. So those two cameras there up on the Hampton Inn. We also have the camera in Niles from Jessica Massey State Farm, courtesy of Jessica. Looking to the northwest. We have Great Lakes Pondscapes in Paw Paw. They're on Red Arrow Highway. We also have the Riverview camera, Electronic Tech Solutions. West of Scoop up in Six Lakes. Beautiful altocumulus clouds here. The altocumulus is probably one of my favorite cloud structures, truthfully. I like that a lot. The Stanwood camera, also showing some altocumulus clouds there, courtesy of Stanwood Market. Fawn River HVAC in the Sturgis area, facing to the northwest there in Sturgis. This is also an Aurora camera, as is the Great Lakes Pondscapes camera, as well as the Marble Springs Campground camera. We have the Safety Glasses USA camera in Three Rivers, looking to the west. We do have our newest camera. That was installed yesterday as well. It is still being worked on, so it's a little blurry there. We're not up to speed with this yet, but it's on our list of cameras here, so it's on, but it's just not operational just yet. So this is courtesy of Roots Tree Service in Scotts, Michigan. Look forward to getting that camera up and running in full HD here soon. Valley Farms in Imlay City, looking south, courtesy there of Valley Farms. Of course, our Burton camera, the first ever camera to go live there in Burton, courtesy of Guardian Technologies. And as well, Wolverine, courtesy of Guardian Technologies as well. Those are all of our weather cameras, guys. All 35 of them. There's a ton. So we have a lot more coming too. So thank you to all of our camera sponsors who provide us views. Much needed views in Michigan. They have come in handy. If you watch us religiously here, you can already attest to their use and how beneficial they've been to our operations here at Michigan Storm Chasers. If you want to sponsor your camera, we are looking for sponsors all across Michigan still. We are being more selective now. We have a lot of cameras up in certain areas. For example, we have 6 in Illinois County. So we're going to be more selective on where we go with new cameras. but you're welcome to apply. Anywhere in Michigan, feel free to email me, ryan@michiganstormchasers.com. You can also find the JOT form to fill out the interest form here in the YouTube chat. Moderators will link it. They already did, actually, in YouTube chat. And if you scroll back on our page, we do link it several times throughout the week on certain posts asking for more sponsors. So with that said, current time on your screen is 6:45. None of these storms appear to be severe. So what I'm going to do here, Joel is about to be home. He's about 20 minutes or so away, and I don't think we're going to have anything more go severe here in 20 minutes. So with that being said, Monroe County could, let's take a peek back. I don't like the, Omega's been really lagging behind. Let's take a look at Detroit's radar here and take a peek at the hail tracker on Detroit. It's not going to load for me either. There, it just loaded. Perfect. Let's analyze this real quick before I pop off. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Good as in not severe. Let's go up in height, 13,000. Yeah, we are at 25,000. It's not looking that great. So I think we're good to pop off here, guys. Yeah, I think we're good to pop out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll the outro here. I may let the outro run 2 times just to be safe. But in the meantime, I'm going to pop off. And you guys will have Joel with you the rest of the way tonight. In the meantime, let's go north just to be sure nothing else is going on up by Ingham County. That's just a shower down there. West Michigan, all clear there. Showers up in the Tri-Cities. Northern Michigan, you guys are all clear there. UP, you guys are all clear up there. We are good. I'm going to roll the outro twice. So enjoy that, or the outro music, the calming outro music twice. In the meantime, I'm going to hop off of here. I'll catch you guys later tonight if need be. In the meantime, no severe weather is expected. In the short term, if one were to go severe, it's going to be this one in Monroe County. So in the meantime, I'll be back live if need be. But Joel's got you here in about 15 minutes or so. In the meantime, enjoy a 6-minute outro this time. Enjoy your evening, guys.